Hello friends, you're with a Lonesome Gamer and I'm still playing Thunderbolt Apache Leader, and it's still day 1 of my Iran mission, the standard mission. I just flew my first mission. It was Gumby and the Thunderbolt, and well, he was a little unlucky, I think. He nearly managed to destroy the scout group, but he didn't quite make it. In the last turn he was a little unlucky, so he just could half the scout group. But it was kind of a success. Now, the second mission of this day will be the artillery unit. There's also this very bad ability here, lose 2 special option points at the end of the day. And we can gain a lot of victory points. 6 victory points, that's not too bad. So I guess I'm gonna try to destroy that one, and this time I'll have 3 pilots and they try to make a successful attack. So the first thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna arm my aircraft. Okay, I've armed my 3 aircraft. And it's an Apache, and that one is the AH-64D. That's a better one because of its radar installation. I got a +1 to all my attack values of the pilot, and it is also linked. In this game that won't be important, but if there would have been more linked aircraft, then they all share the same line of sight, which is pretty useful, obviously. We have another Apache 64A and a Harrier. The interesting thing about the Harrier is that it can also hover, and but it's also pretty fast, so it has a speed between 0 and 2. The Harrier has got these 2 anti-aircraft missiles, just in case there'll be some helicopters, and then all the rest is air-to-ground weapons. Basically strike weapons, these MK20. The good thing about them is that you can attack all the units in one hex with only 1 bomb. So that's pretty cool. And then it's here, this Apache. He's got a lot of these standoff weapons here with a high range. And then there is Daddy-O, and he's better with the strike ability than with the standoff ability. So he's got more of these weapons with a smaller range than of the ones with a longer range. Okay, so I armed the aircraft, and then I have to draw my target bound mission event card. And that says UAV flyover. Gain +1 on attack rolls during the first loiter turn. That's good. I tend to forget that, so I hope I remember that this time. And then we're gonna place the terrain hexes there. Okay, I placed the terrain tiles and the enemy units. Interesting to see is There are here lots of them. And it would be possible with these MK20 to get here, then we can do a lot of damage. Problem is, there's also the SAM here and here. So if we enter here, then there's a lot of enemy fire that we don't want to take. Generally might be a good idea to enter, for example, from here. The Scots, they don't have an attack, and the ridges here, they block line of sight of the two SAMs here and there. So there is only here the infantry that can see us. All the others, here there is that ridge, all the others won't see us. So it might be a good idea to enter here, and then we only gain one attack from this infantry. Another option might be from here. There is absolutely no one, because there is this ridge which is blocking line of sight of that infantry, and that one blocking also line of sight from everybody else. So I'm not absolutely sure what to do. Maybe it's even a better idea from here. There's also only this SPA and the Scud, and they can't attack, but they are valuable targets. So maybe it's even a better idea to start from here, or I split up, one from there, the other from here. Not sure yet. Okay, now I placed my aircraft. The two helicopters I placed here. Here they are completely out of line of sight. Only this infantry can see them. And they will take one attack, but one of these is then attacking this hex here, and while the other one is attacking that one. Both are hovering, I think. Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if that is true. Anyway, this guy is flying from here, will attack these two enemies in the first turn, and then in the second turn we have to try somehow to destroy the SAM. Well, this is going to be difficult, I'm afraid. We have no scout here. So the loiter counter will be placed. There is normally it starts at 5, but because it's this fuel depot here, we only have 4 turns over target. But we have 3 pilots, so I hope it's good enough. So now we draw the pop-up counters. There is no one in high altitude, and then we roll for the enemies going to cover, and that is a 5. So has destroyed units in attacks. So until now no enemy goes to cover, and then the fast pilots attack. No pilot can attack here, and then the enemy attacks. Well, right here there are no attack values. The Scud and the SPA, they won't attack. Infantry is not in line of sight. You can see here's a ridge, there's a ridge. Here the SAM with a range of 3, which is amazing. They cover the whole area, but they're also out of line of sight because of these ridges here. And here is a ridge, and these ridges here. But this infantry unit, they can attack one of my helicopters. Have a range of 1, and now we will randomly determine which helicopter is attacked. On a 1 to 5 it's Stadio. So it's the other guy, it's Montana. And now there's a big difference to the to the other games of the Leader series. We don't roll a die to see if there's a hit or not. There is this number here in the upper right, the 1 on the yellow ground. So now we have a cup here, and we draw 1 token. That's why there is a 1. We draw that randomly, and you can see here now there is a red side and there is a yellow side. And in this case it's the yellow ground, and that says light damage. Red would be heavy damage. So now we take the bullet holes. That's the damage that we take. Montana takes the bullet holes, and now we have here some counters to remember that. We place them here, and the damage marker goes back into the cup. Bullet holes are no problem in this mission. In the next mission, if we assign a pilot to this aircraft, the pilot takes 2 stress at the start of the mission, because it won't give you too much confidence to fly a aircraft with bullet holes. But we can repair aircraft. Okay, so that was the enemy attacks, and now it's the slow altitude move attack phase. We can do our attacks now. So let's start with this guy. That is Daddy-O. And he is actually better with the strike ability. And he's got a +1. So he's got a +3 strike. So he's going to attack these 2 on the Scud markers. And he's going to use... he's going to use these 2 markers here. If he rolls a 1, it's a hit, because it's a +3 and we only need a 4. But if we roll a 4, we are allowed to keep the marker, and that would be great. So let's hope for the best here. First one is an 8, and the second one is an 8 too. Very good. So we can keep them both, and both targets are destroyed. Okay. And now it's Montana, and he attacks here. The Scud and the infantry that you find there. Actually, I wonder if Daddy-O should move now. I have to think about that. Yeah, actually that is something I do. I'm hovering now, so after the attack I will now move here. If you hover and then you want to move, then you can move not to an adjacent hex, but you use your movement point to move to the edge of the hex where you hovered in. And then it's Montana, and he's also hovering, and she shoots here the Scud and the infantry. And he's good in standoff attacks, so he uses these 2 markers here. He's got a +2 value, and the first one is for the Scud, the second one is for the infantry. Let's see. First one is a 10, so he can use that again, and the Scud is destroyed. Let's see about the infantry. And that's a 5. And now we add 2. So we have a 7, so we can also keep that one. Very good. That was a success. So they're both destroyed. And yeah, I think I'm also going to move here. That's a... Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Is that clever? I don't know, actually. Yeah, why not? I think I'm going to do that. Maybe it was an error to move Daddy-O there, but now it's too late. And then it's actually David. And he's going to attack these two units here. And he's going to use these two. Oh, of course I forgot I could add one. Still, I think I'm going to use both of these bombs, because these are quite valuable targets. And the cool thing is now here, this number, that says, yeah, this number here is written in brackets, so that means you can attack every target in the hex with one bomb. So if I throw both of these bombs on these targets, I can roll for every target twice. That's pretty cool, I guess. And I got a +1. So my cannon modifier is 0, but I got a +1, and I need a 6 for a hit. So a 5 would be good enough. Let's start with the Scud. That's a 7, so the Scud is destroyed. And then we still got 2 rolls for the SPA. And that's a 8, so that is destroyed too. Okay, cool, we were lucky here. And then we can move. Well, actually we have to move. But I'm not absolutely sure where to move. Yeah, that's difficult. Maybe maybe I should have started hovering here. I think that was an error, because now I have to go here, and here I am in line of sight of this guy. And that's definitely a problem, because 1, 2, 3, there is no rift in between like that. You have to take the shortest way. I can take that one, 1, 2, 3, there is this rift. I can go 1, 2, 3, there is that rift. But that one is also 1, 2, 3. And that is, well, so in this case there is no rift here, a ridge here. So, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm in line of sight of this guy. And that's bad. Okay, so he can attack me now. I should have thought about that. Okay, so now we advance the loiter counter. And then we draw pop-up counters. Right now there are no high altitude aircraft. And then we roll for the enemy cover. Let's hope that's not too bad now. That's a 4. So everyone that has destroyed units in its hex. So that is no one, because The hexes are all destroyed completely. Then the fast one, there is no fast pilot and the enemy's attacks. And now this is getting a little harder, because now this guy can attack Divot. That's bad, because he can draw two heavy damage tokens. Now let's hope it's not too bad. The first one, well, that's okay, that's 1 stress. There's a number here, that is a plane designation here, AH-64. That would mean this aircraft is not affected by that damage marker, so I could simply ignore that. But in this case, this is not the case. So I simply take 1 stress. I was lucky here, that is not too bad. And the second one, well, that is an engine damage. Right now, that's also not so much a problem. If I don't repair that, then in my next missions, they could they could bring the airplane down. But right now there is no risk. So I have to place that here, and then I take 1 stress. And I think I can say I was lucky here. Okay. And then it's again me. I'm the one who can attack now. Okay, so what I decided to do now is first, Divot will use this weapon here. That's a pretty awesome one, the AGM-65. Has a range of 3. And I can attack the SAM. And as you can see, it's a 1. So that's a safe hit. So the SAM is destroyed. And then I move, and yeah, I guess I will simply move here and stay in low altitude. And now I think I'm going to try to evade that ridge. On the other hand, wow, let me see. Okay, Montana, he's going to high altitude now. And he's flying over that ridge right here. And, well, question is now, yeah, where is he exactly flying? I gotta think about that. Okay, so I go to high altitude. And then, before I move, I shoot. I hope I can do that. Yeah, I can. And I shoot 2 of these weapons. Or should I take... I might also take 3 actually. I mean... No, I take 2 of them, which should be good enough. I got a standoff of 2. So I only need a 2 to hit. Yeah, and I try to attack that SAM site here. That's a 2, that is just enough. and the other one is an 8. Okay, great. Oh, 1 would have been enough. I was a little distracted here. So the SAM site is destroyed, and then I can move over the ridge without any danger, and I can go here. Okay, it looks a little dangerous, but I hope they can make it. I mean, if you imagine that, I mean, this guy is at low altitude, the plane, while the helicopter is at high altitude. It's quite an interesting maneuver. Anyway, and now it's actually Daddy-O, and he risks to evade that ridge. So he crosses that ridge, and he now moves here, and he attacks the infantry. And but before he does so, he has to make an evade roll. And that is, we got this table here. There are modifiers. If he would have been evasive, that's a special ability, we could add that. If he had stress, we had to subtract that. Both is not the case, so we simply roll, and let's hope we roll, well, at least a 3. Everything else would be really bad. And that's a 3. Okay, so he takes 2 stress because of that action. That's not great, but okay. He's got a coolness of 1, so I think it's not too bad. And then he attacks the infantry. And he does that with, well, I suggest with both of these LAU weapons here. Here, he's got a +2 for a strike. That's the case. We have a strike here. So that is the 7, so he can keep the first weapon. And he can also keep he can both weapons, very good. And the infantry is destroyed. Okay, so that was that turn. And then the marker goes down again. There's not so much time left, as you can see. And now, the next turn, we have to draw pop-up counters. And this time we have to do this because Montana is at high altitude. And for every plane in high altitude, or for every aircraft in high altitude, we have to draw a pop-up counter. So we also do this randomly, and pop-up, no enemy. Okay, we were lucky here. So, and then we do the enemy cover roll. That's a 4. So again, has destroyed units and hacks. That is bad. Because now all these guys go into cover. That could possibly become a problem, but I'm not sure about it actually. So they're all into cover, and that means now, I think I said that before, we can't do standoff attacks on these guys. We can only attack them with a cannon or with a strike. And then we got the enemy attacks, and there is now the infantry. They have a range of 1. So, by the way, if you are on high altitude, you're always in line of sight. So, ridges do not block line of sight if you're in high altitude. And the infantry, now they have line of sight to Daddy-O and to Montana. And also, by the way, to Divot, but he's too far away. They only have a range of 1. So let's see, 1 to 5 is Daddy-O. So Montana is attacked once again, And again we draw a yellow marker here, one of them. So in this case, that's a structural damage. That's not really good, but until now it shouldn't be a problem. We can, as you can see, we can take 2 structural hits, and the third one would be a crash then. But 1 is okay. Okay, and well, there is no more attacking unit here. They don't have any attacking abilities, these units here. And then we can do our attacks. The thing is, we need to destroy at least as many units so that there are only 5 points remaining. This Scud is hard to attack because it's completely isolated with these ridges here, and that infantry is also pretty far away. But if we can destroy all other units, then that would be 3, 4, so then we had a destruction of the target. I hope that works. Okay, so let's see now. First, it's Montana, and he will go to low altitude again. And, well, let me see here. He's good in standoff attacks, so he now uses, it doesn't really matter, he uses these 2 to attack that SPA. That shouldn't be a problem. He's got a +2, so he needs a 2 for a hit. The first one is a 6, so we can even keep that one, and the second one, that's a 7, so we can keep them both. And that marker is destroyed. And then I'll move here, and in the next turn I leave the area. Okay, and then it's David. And he now moves 2, 1, and 2. He moves right over these. And, well, he throws these 2 bombs. They allow him to roll for every target, and that's in this case a lot. And then he can, in addition, fire that rocket. And he'll fire the rocket to the Scud. That's the most expensive one. So first we start with the rocket. That's a 2, and well, he's got a +0 on strikes, so that's definitely not enough. That's a miss. And he needs a 6 to hit these counters. Okay, so first we can roll twice for every counter now. First we start with the infantry. And that's a 9, so the infantry is destroyed. And then we have 1 SPA, an 8, very good. Then we have a Scud here. That's a 3. We have to try it again. That's the most valuable target actually. Yes, that's a 7, very good, awesome. Okay, and then in the end there is 1 SPA left. So let's see. And we have a 6, so it's destroyed. We were successful here. And then we are here. So Oh, wait a minute. That is of course not very clever. We move here, of course, to leave the area. We don't want to enter that ridge here. And then it's him, and he also moves simply here in low altitude. And well, then we are done here. So the next thing is the loiter counter moves down. And then, in the next turn, we all leave the area. So we made it without too many problems, I'd say. Very good. So now, let me see. Okay, we can remove the battalion counter. That was 1S, so that is that one. That's destroyed, that's out of the game. And then the homebound mission event. Reporting for duty. Keep this card. At the start of any day, reduce any one pilot's stress by 5, then discard. Well, that can be a very, very powerful card. So we want to keep that. Until now, we are not doing too bad. And okay, then we have to do the paperwork. Okay, so now as you can see, I'm basically pretty successful here. It's not too bad with the stress of the pilots. The pilots that destroyed the targets, they gained 2 experience points. I have now 7 victory points after the first day, and here we marked the damage that the aircraft took. And then we gain special option points, and we gain 1 extra point because of the Iran mission or campaign. Then we gain an extra point when we destroy a battalion. So we have 3, and then we gain 6 points for the first day. So we're now at 9. That's good. And then we have to move the enemy battalions. And we now have to roll for every mobile battalion. You can hear this one. That is not mobile. That's just a building. But all the others are mobile battalions. And as you can see here, for example, the assault battalions, if we roll 1 to 4, they hold their position. On a 5 or higher, they advance. Support battalions are not so aggressive, and the command battalions are even less aggressive. When they're at half strength, we can subtract -3. And then I wonder, yeah, that's it. If the scout group would have been still full in the game, we had to add 2. But that is not the case because we brought them down to half strength. So I'm going to do this now and then you'll see the results. Okay, as you can see, we rolled pretty bad. All the assault battalions went forward. So they're now in this friendly transit area. It's a little more stressy to attack them here. And if they make it here to the friendly rear, then we lose 1 special option point per enemy. If we can't pay these special option points, game over. So that shouldn't happen. Okay. And then this would be now the loss of the special option points during this map, but there is nothing right now. And now we could replace, do the replacements. We could now buy new aircraft or new pilots, and I think we have to pay 2 victory. Yeah, you have to pay 2 victory points per aircraft, 1 victory point per pilot. So that's not a good thing. But sometimes it's useful to do that. Right now we won't do it. Anyway, I think, yeah, we cannot replace aircraft or pilots during day 1 or 2. So we can't do it anyway. But we can repair the aircraft, that is possible. And that makes sense actually. We have these 3 permanent damages here. To remove one, we have to pay a special option point. And well, that's what we're gonna do. We'll remove them all. So we'll pay 1, 2, 3 of these points. I think that's worth it. And now we can remove all the damages from the aircraft. Okay, and we could do this priority roll. If we paid more special option points, we could relax and we could reduce the stress of our pilots, but I don't want to make this right now. And then we have to advance the day counter, so now we are in day 2. Okay, I think it wasn't too bad. We had a little bad luck with our first mission, but the second one was okay, I guess. We were lucky here. We did not take too many, too bad. Yeah, the damage we took wasn't too bad. And the stress was also okay, I guess. There might be a little problem with all these enemies here now in the friendly transit area. So it could be a bad... yeah, there might be some bad days coming up now. But, well, let's see. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in our next mission. Until then, bye.